Good day, here are the headlines from the Philippine News Agency. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has granted amnesty to former members of rebel groups as he encouraged them to return to the fold of the law. Marcos issued proclamation 404 granting amnesty to the former members of the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front or CPP, NPA, NDF. He also issued Proclamation 403 granting amnesty to former members of the RPMP, RPA, ABB, or Alex Bongcayo Brigade, as well as Proclamations 405 and 406, which grants amnesty to the members of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front and Moro National Liberation Front. The amnesty extended towards former rebels who committed crimes punishable under the revised penal code and special penal laws, particularly rebellion, sedition, and those done in pursuit of their political beliefs. It does not cover the crimes of kidnap for ransom, massacre, rape, terrorism, crimes committed against chastity, illegal drugs, and gross violations of human rights, such as crimes against humanity. Marcos also signed Executive Order No. 47, amending EO 125 series of 2021, which created the National Amnesty Commission. The commission will be tasked to process amnesty applications for groups covered by the four proclamations. House Speaker Martin Romualdez has asked members of the Asia-Pacific Parliamentary Forum to support the Philippines' bid to get a non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council for the term 2027 to 2028. On the sidelines of the Thursday's 31st Asia-Pacific Parliamentary Forum, Romualdez told APPF member states that the Philippines stands ready to contribute to global peace and stability. Romualdez said they are collaborating with the country's friends in the region to push for its candidature in the UN Security Council. He is also optimistic that the APPF would be effective in garnering support for the country's campaign. Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri said 15 member countries have already expressed support for the Philippines' candidacy and the country needs 11 more supporters. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. first announced the country's bid to join the UNSC during the 77th session of the UN General Assembly in September 2022. The Philippines was last elected to the UNSC in 2004. The UNSC elections will be held during the 81st UN General Assembly in 2026. The Sandiganbayan on Thursday found Datu Andal Ampatuan Jr. guilty of 21 counts of graft, which coincides with the 14th anniversary of the Maguindanao Massacre. Ampatuan Jr. was convicted in relation to the provision of a fuel supply contract for some road projects from a gasoline station he owns in 2008. The anti-graft court sentenced him to up to 210 years of imprisonment for all 21 counts of graft and ordered him to pay 44.18 million pesos with interest for the value of the undelivered fuel. Ampatuan Jr. is also permanently disqualified from holding public office. His co-accused Samsudin Sema and Omar Kamsa were also found guilty of falsifying public documents related to the contract and were sentenced to imprisonment. The decision came on the commemoration of the 14th anniversary of the massacre, where 58 people, including 32 journalists, died due to election-related violence between rival political clans. Ampatuan Jr. was among the Ampatuan clan members who were found guilty in 2019 of 57 counts of murder in relation to the Maguindanao Massacre. The Philippine military chief says a Chinese vessel closely shadowed a joint maritime patrol conducted by the Philippines and the United States. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief General Romeo Brawner Jr., however, says there were no reported aggressive actions against the Filipino and American ships. Brawner said the joint maritime patrol involving 2 Philippine Navy ships and U.S. Navy vessel occurred at approximately 10:15 a.m. on Thursday near the Malampaya Deepwater Gas to Power Project platform, about 27 nautical miles from Palawan. He said the Chinese vessel shadowing the patrol maintained a distance of 6.5 nautical miles and did not engage in any aggressive maneuvers. The joint patrols began off Batanes on November 21 and ended at the West Philippine Sea on November 23. He said the main goal of the joint patrols was to guarantee interoperability with the U.S. rather than to provoke China under the framework of the Philippine-U.S. Mutual Defense Treaty. A look at world news now. Israel and the Palestinian Islamist group Hamas have agreed to a 4-day truce starting Friday, according to mediators in Qatar. Qatar's foreign ministry says the deal went into force at 7 a.m. local time, which includes an all-out ceasefire in both the north and south regions of Gaza. It said 13 Israeli women and children hostages are expected to be released today, with the numbers seen to reach 50, including elderly women, for the next 4 days. This as more humanitarian aid are expected to be delivered to Gaza. Majed Al-Ansari, a spokesman for the ministry in Qatar's capital Doha, said the ceasefire also aims to facilitate the release of Palestinian prisoners detained in Israeli detention facilities, as well as open the door for more extensive negotiations towards a lasting and sustainable peace. The Israeli Prime Minister's office said it has been in contact with the relatives of the hostages and has reported receiving the first list of hostages scheduled for release from the Gaza Strip. In order to ensure proper coordination, Qatar said that it would establish an operations room in Doha to monitor the ceasefire and release of captives. Additionally, the country maintained direct communication lines with Israel, the Hamas political office in Doha, and the International Committee of the Red Cross. Egypt, which is also a major player in the mediation process, said it also received lists of hostages and detainees who are anticipated to be freed and called on all parties to respect and adhere to the conditions of this agreement. In Washington, a U.S. State Department official noted the importance of this development, stressing the continued efforts to obtain the release of all remaining hostages from Gaza in the coming weeks. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the Pna Headlines. For more news updates, please visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The Pna Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the Pna Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account, via the News and Information Bureau website, nib.gov.ph under PNA News, or on the Facebook page of the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO. It's 31 days before Christmas. I'm Wilnard Bacelonia, and this is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.